The ship died screaming. Captain Calvara felt every system failure like a physical blow, navigation gone, life support failing, hull integrity at 30% and dropping. The spatial anomaly had torn through her scout vessel like it was made of tissue paper. "Ratchet!" she roared over the alarms. "I need options!" "Options are limited, Captain," her maintenance drone chirped back, his voice somehow cheerful despite imminent death. "We can crash spectacularly, crash mediocrely, or my personal favorite, crash with style." "Can you be serious for once?" "Absolutely not. It's against my programming." The planet rushed up to meet them, blue and green, and completely unmapped. Not in any Tharnaxian database. Not even surveyed. They'd been thrown across the galaxy by the anomaly into completely unknown space. Kale didn't waste time on fear. She grabbed the manual controls and aimed for water. Water meant soft landing. Relatively. "Brace for impact in 30 seconds. She growled. 29, 28. Ratchet counted down. "You know, Captain, I've always wanted to visit a primitive world. Very educational. 27, 26. If we die, I'm blaming you for your terrible flying. 20. The ship hit the ocean like a meteor. Everything went dark. Kale woke to water slapping against metal and Ratchet's voice saying, "Well, that was suboptimal." She groaned, pulling herself upright. Around her, the cockpit was a disaster, sparking wires, cracked view screens, and the unmistakable smell of fried electronics. Through the fractured canopy, she saw sky. Blue. Too blue. "Status," she demanded. Ratchet's optical sensor flickered on a hovering sphere the size of a basketball, covered in articulated tools and dents from 100 repair jobs. He'd been with her for 7 years. Part mechanic, part companion, part pain in her ass. "Ship status. Catastrophically terrible," Ratchet reported. "Life support. Offline. Navigation. Offline. Propulsion. Offline. Communications. Offline. Hull integrity. I'd give it a solid 3 out of 10. We're taking on water. Oh, and the coffee maker is broken, which is truly the worst part. We don't drink coffee." I could have learned. Kale hauled herself out of her seat, testing her limbs. Bruised, but functional. All 4 arms working. No brakes. Tharnaxian durability for the win. She looked out at the water. They'd landed in some kind of inlet rocky shore, visible about half a kilometer away. The ship was sinking slowly. "Can we salvage the drive core?" she asked. Ratchet spun in place, scanning. "Maybe. Possibly. If we're very lucky, and you pray to whatever Tharnaxian gods you don't believe in. The quantum motivator is intact, but we'd need a new power source, new containment housing, and about 15 components we definitely don't have. So we scavenge." "From where?" "Captain, we're on an unknown planet with no infrastructure." "No." He paused. His sensor array swiveled toward the shore. "Wait. I'm picking up electromagnetic emissions. Refined metals. Combustion engines. Captain, there's civilization here." Kale felt something cold settle in her stomach. Civilization meant complications. "What level?" she asked. "Primitive. Pre-FTL. Probably pre-fusion. I'm reading. Is that internal combustion? Oh, how adorably backward." He bobbed excitedly. "Can we steal their stuff?" "We salvage what we need and avoid contact." "You're no fun." They swam to shore, Kale's powerful limbs cutting through the water, Ratchet using anti-grav to hover above it. By the time they reached land, Kale had formulated a plan. Scout the area, locate a source of metals and electronics, salvage the ship's drive core, rebuild it into something functional, and get off this rock. Simple. Efficient. No complications. The plan lasted approximately 4 hours. Marcus Chen was having a perfectly normal Tuesday until he found an alien in his junkyard. He'd come out to the old Murphy property, 20 acres of scrap metal, abandoned cars, and electronics that he'd bought for pennies looking for copper wiring. What he found instead was a 7-foot-tall, 4-armed woman in armor, ripping the engine block out of a 1987 Buick with her bare hands. Marcus froze. The woman froze. They stared at each other. "Okay," Marcus said slowly. "Either I'm having a stroke or you're really here." The woman's eyes, amber, glowing, faintly narrowed. "You should not be here. It's my junkyard." "Your?" She looked around at the acres of rusting metal. "This is your territory?" "I mean, legally speaking, yeah. I own it." Marcus's engineer brain was cataloging details. 4 arms, digiti-grade legs, gray skin that looked armored, jaw structure that could probably bite through steel. "What are you?" "Leaving." She turned back to the car engine. A floating robot sphere popped up from behind the Buick. "Oh, hello. Don't mind us. Just committing some light theft. Nothing personal." Marcus blinked. "Your robot talks." "Ratchet is a maintenance drone," the woman said, not looking at him. "And he talks too much. It's a beating a bat." 1. "Howsome." "I'm charming," Ratchet protested. "Captain, we should probably kill this human. Cover our tracks. Very clean, very efficient. We are not killing anyone. I want it noted that I suggested it." Marcus should have run, should have called the police, should have done literally anything except what he did next, which was step closer and say, "What are you building?" The woman, the alien, looked at him with surprise. "Why would you ask that?" "Because you're pulling specific components, not random scrap. You took the alternator, the battery, and..." He squinted. "Is that the starter motor?" "You're building a power system." For a long moment, the alien just stared at him. Then she said, "You understand engineering." "I'm a mechanical engineer. Well, was. Now I mostly fix cars and flip scrap." He gestured at the junkyard. "This is my retirement project. I'm Marcus. By the way, I am Cale Vara, captain of the Tharnaxian scout vessel Storm's Edge." She paused. "Which is currently sinking in your ocean." "That's rough." Marcus looked at her salvaged components. "Power system for what? Escape pod? Beacon?" "A ship. I am rebuilding my vessel's drive core to create a functional escape craft." Marcus whistled. "From junkyard parts? That's ambitious." "It is necessary." Cale studied him. "You will not alert your authorities?" "To the alien stealing from my junkyard? Nah," he grinned. "But I want to help." "Why?" "Because this is the coolest thing that's ever happened to me, and I'm not about to waste it." Ratchet spun in place. "Ooh, I like him. Captain, can we keep him?" "He is not a pet." "I know, but he has thumbs. And tools. Do you have tools, human Marcus?" "Yeah, I have tools." "Excellent. You're hired. Salary is 0. Benefits include not being boring." Marcus laughed. He couldn't help it. "Deal. So what do you need?" Cale's expression shifted. Not quite a smile, but close. Marcus's workshop was, in Cale's professional opinion, a disaster. Tools scattered everywhere. Half-finished projects on every surface. The structural organization would give a Tharnaxian quartermaster an aneurysm, but it had everything she needed. "This is your workspace?" she asked, ducking through the doorway. "Yeah. It's not much, but it is adequate." She immediately started cataloging resources. "You have a plasma welder? Arc welder? Primitive but functional. Lathe? Got one in the back. Oscilloscope? Multimeter? Diagnostic computer?" Yes, and sort of. It's from 2003. Ratchet bobbed around the workshop, scanning everything. "Oh, this is adorable. Look at these hand tools. They're so manual. Captain, these people still use screwdrivers." "We use screwdrivers in Tharnaxian engineering," Cale pointed out. "Yes, but ours are sonic." Marcus leaned against a workbench. "So, let me get this straight. Your ship crashed. You need to rebuild the engine. And you're going to do it with Earth tech?" "Not entirely. I salvaged the quantum motivator. the core component. But the power coupling, containment housing, and control systems were destroyed. I must fabricate replacements using local materials. How long? Cale calculated. 6 weeks. Possibly 8, if complications arise. And then you just leave? Fly off into space? That is the objective. Marcus nodded slowly. Then, can I come with you? Both Cale and Ratchet stared at him. Excuse me? Cale said.
I want to come. Into space. See other worlds. This, he gestured around, this is amazing. You're rebuilding a spaceship in my workshop. That's not something that happens to people. And I'm not about to let it happen and then just go back to fixing carburetors. You would leave your world? Your species? My world is boring. My species doesn't appreciate good engineering. And you, he grinned, you're the most interesting thing that's ever walked through my door. So yeah, I want to come. He's insane, Ratchet said cheerfully. I love it. Captain, can we keep him, please? Cale studied Marcus, really studied him. Humans were weak. She could snap him like a twig. They were slow, fragile. Their planet was soft, safe, unchallenging. But this one had intelligence in his eyes, curiosity, the kind of adaptability that Tharnaxians valued in scouts. The universe is dangerous, she said. I cannot guarantee your safety. I'm not asking for safety. I'm asking for adventure. You may die. Everyone dies. Might as well die doing something incredible. Cale's jaw plates shifted, the Tharnaxian equivalent of a smile. Very well. You may accompany me, but first, we build a ship. Hell yes. Marcus grabbed a wrench. Where do we start? With something very stupid and very dangerous. My favorite combination. Ratchet spun in circles. Oh, this is going to be fun. Building a spaceship in secret turned out to be harder than expected. We need a magnetron from a military-grade radar system, Cale said on day 3, studying her schematics. Can't we use something else? Marcus asked. No, the quantum motivator requires precise electromagnetic containment. Consumer-grade components will fail. So we need to steal military equipment. Essentially. Marcus grinned. I know a guy. The guy turned out to be Marcus's friend Derek, who works security at a decommissioned Air Force base. Getting onto the base required fake IDs, a maintenance van, and Ratchet hacking the gate systems. This is highly illegal, Cale observed as they drove through. Yep, Marcus agreed cheerfully. I could be discovered. Yep, I could be discovered. Your species would panic. Almost certainly. And yet you are smiling. Because this is the most alive I've felt in 10 years. He looked at her. Cale, I spent a decade designing aerospace components for a corporation that ignored every innovation I proposed. I'm 42 years old, and I was planning to retire and die without ever building anything that mattered. This, he gestured at the base, this matters. Cale felt something uncomfortable in her chest. On Tharnax, warriors served without question. Duty was purpose. But humans seemed to need something else, something called meaning. You are very strange, she said. I'll take that as a compliment. They found the radar equipment in a warehouse scheduled for demolition. Cale lipped the magnetotron free with her bare hands while Ratchet kept watch. Guards approaching, Ratchet chirped. 3 humans, armed with primitive kinetic weapons. Should I disable them? Non-lethally, Cale ordered. You're no fun. Ratchet deployed a sonic pulse that made the guards clutch their heads and stumble. By the time they recovered, Cale and Marcus were gone. That was insane, Marcus said as they drove away, adrenaline making his hands shake. That was efficient. We could have been caught. But we were not. Cale looked at him. You are experiencing elevated heart rate, dilated pupils, rapid breathing. Is this fear? No. This is excitement. He laughed. Cale, this is what I've been missing. In the back of the van, Ratchet said, I'm detecting a concerning emotional attachment forming. Should I be worried? Shut up, Ratchet. Just saying, Captain. Humans are fragile. Get attached, they die, very sad, lots of crying. I am not forming an attachment. Sure, and I'm not enjoying watching you form an attachment. Kale didn't respond, but she didn't disagree either. Over the following weeks, Kale learned about Earth. Marcus showed her his world, carefully, always at night or in isolated places. She saw forests, inefficient but beautiful. Oceans, vast and terrifying. Cities from a distance, chaotic but functional. She tasted human food. Pizza was acceptable. Coffee was bitter poison. Something called ice cream was inexplicably delightful. Your species wastes resources on pleasure, she observed, eating her third bowl. That's called living, Marcus said. Not everything has to be efficient. Inefficiency is weakness. Or maybe it's what makes life worth living. Kale considered this while Ratchet made gagging sounds in the corner. You two are disgusting, the drone announced. All this philosophy and feeling, where's the violence, the explosions? We had explosions yesterday when the power coupling overloaded, Marcus pointed out. That was an accident. I mean intentional explosions, fun ones. You have a concerning worldview for a maintenance drone. I contain multitudes. But the real learning came in the workshop. As they built the ship, piece by piece, night after night, Marcus asked questions. What's Tharnax like? Kale described her home world, heavy gravity, thin atmosphere, red sun, cities built into mountains, massive forge worlds where ships were born, a culture built on strength, discipline, warfare. Sounds harsh, Marcus said. It is home. Do you miss it? Kale's hand stilled on the component she was assembling. Did she miss it? The constant pressure? The weight? The expectation to be harder, stronger, more lethal? I miss knowing my purpose, she said finally. On Tharnax, everything is clear. You are born, you serve, you fight, you die. No questions. That sounds exhausting. It is efficient. Kale, you keep saying that, but I don't think you believe it anymore. She looked at him sharply. What do you mean? I mean, you smile when Ratchet makes terrible jokes. You spent 20 minutes yesterday watching a sunset. You asked me to teach you about music. Those aren't the actions of someone who only cares about efficiency. I am adapting to local conditions. You're experiencing joy. It's allowed, you know. Kale wanted to argue, to insist that joy was irrelevant, that only the mission mattered. But the words wouldn't come. Because he was right. Somewhere between stealing military equipment and eating ice cream and building an impossible ship, she'd started to feel something other than duty. She'd started to feel alive. Your world is dangerous, she said quietly. How so? It makes me question everything. Marcus smiled. Good. Questions are how we grow. In the corner, Ratchet made a retching sound. Can we please focus on the spaceship? All this emotional development is making my circuits itch. You don't have circuits that itch, Kale said. I do now. This is what happens when you expose me to human feelings. I'm malfunctioning. Despite herself, Kale laughed. A real laugh, deep and genuine. Marcus grinned. See? Joy. You're getting good at it. Shut up and hand me the torque wrench. Yes, Captain. 6 weeks became 7. 7 became 8. The ship took shape in Marcus's workshop, a sleek, angular craft that was part Tharnaxian engineering and part human innovation. It looked like nothing that had ever flown before. It's beautiful, Marcus said, standing back to admire their work. It is functional, Kale corrected, but her voice held pride. Ratchet scanned the hull. Quantum motivator, operational. Power coupling, stable. Navigation systems, online. Life support, functioning. Hull integrity, surprisingly good. Captain, I think this bucket of bolts might actually fly. It will fly, Kale said firmly. We built it correctly. You know what we haven't discussed? Marcus said. Where we're going. Kale pulled up a star chart on her datapad. The anomaly that destroyed my ship originated from this sector. I intend to investigate, understand what happened, ensure it does not threaten other vessels. So we're flying toward the thing that almost killed you?
Correct. That's insane. You are welcome to remain on Earth. Marcus laughed. After 8 weeks of building a spaceship? Not a chance. I'm seeing this through. You may die. You keep saying that. I keep not caring. Stupid human. Adventurous human. There is no difference. But Kyle's expression was fond. Over the weeks, she'd learned to read Marcus's expressions, his moods, his terrible sense of humor. Learned that humans valued loyalty over strength, curiosity over certainty. Learned that maybe, possibly, Tharnaxians could value those things too. When do we leave? Marcus asked. Tomorrow night. We will launch from the desert, minimal observation. By the time your authorities detect us, we will be beyond pursuit. Tomorrow, Marcus nodded. Okay, I need to pack. Say goodbye to... Actually, there's no one to say goodbye to. That's kinda sad. You have no mate? No offspring? Divorced, no kids, parents are dead. I've got a sister in Seattle, but we haven't talked in 3 years. He shrugged. I told you, boring life, nothing keeping me here. Kyle studied him. This human who'd risked everything to help a stranger, who'd broken laws, stolen equipment, and spent 8 weeks building an impossible ship. All because he wanted something more. She understood that. Tomorrow, then, she said, we fly. Ratchet spun excitedly. Finally, adventure, violence, probably explosions. Hopefully not explosions, Marcus said. You're no fun. I'm practical. Same thing. They hauled the ship to the desert on a flatbed truck, covered in tarps. At 0300, under moonless sky, they prepared for launch. Kyle ran final checks while Marcus strapped into the co-pilot seat. Ratchet integrated himself into the ship's systems. Power at 90%, the drone reported. Navigation online. Weapons. Oh, we don't have weapons. That's disappointing. We are a science vessel, not a warship, Kale said. We could be both. Focus, Ratchet. Marcus looked at the controls, a mixture of Tharnaxian interfaces and Earth technology jerry-rigged together. This is really happening. Having second thoughts? Kale asked. Absolutely, but I'm doing it anyway. He grinned at her. Let's see the stars. Kale's hands moved across the controls. The quantum motivator hummed to life. Power surged through the ship. All systems green, Ratchet announced. We are go for launch. Prepare for acceleration that will probably liquefy the human. I calibrated the inertial dampeners for his physiology, Kale said. Probably won't liquefy him then. 60% chance of survival. Kale. Kidding? Mostly. Kale looked at Marcus. Last chance to change your mind. Not a chance. Hit it, Captain. She engaged the drive. The ship lifted vertically, anti-gravity systems compensating for Earth's pull. They rose, faster, faster, punching through the atmosphere in seconds. The sky shifted from black to star-filled void. Marcus pressed his face to the viewport, watching Earth shrink below them, blue and green and beautiful. His home. Goodbye, he whispered. Then he looked forward at the infinite expanse of space and smiled. Hello. Space travel, Marcus discovered, was 90% boring and 10% terrifying. They spent 3 days in FTL transit, the ship's quantum motivator bending space around them. Marcus learned Tharnaxian engineering principles. Kale learned human idioms. Ratchet complained constantly. I'm detecting a personality conflict, the drone announced on day 2. Between who? Marcus asked. Me and both of you. You're both terrible. We built you. And I didn't have a choice in that, did I? No consent form, no interview process, just boom, sentient existence, doomed to spend eternity with a violence-obsessed captain and an overly curious human. You love us, Kyle said. I tolerate you. There's a difference. But when Marcus's suit glitched during a hull repair,
Ratchet was the one who patched it in 30 seconds flat. "Don't mention it," the drone muttered. "I'm contractually obligated to keep you alive. Nothing personal." "Thanks, Ratchet." "I said don't mention it. Now I'm malfunctioning again. This is what friendship does. It's a virus." On day 4, they reached the anomaly site. Space was wrong here. Twisted. Reality bent in ways that made Marcus's eyes hurt. Sensors flickered, the ship groaned. "What is this?" Marcus asked. "Unknown." Kyle studied the readings. "The quantum signature is unlike anything in Tharnaxian databases. It's not a natural phenomenon." "So someone made it? Or something?" Ratchet's voice was uncharacteristically serious. "Captain, I'm detecting an energy spike. Something's activating." "Evasive maneuvers!" Too late. The anomaly pulsed. Reality shattered.
The ship tumbled through folded space, alarms screaming. "Quantum motivator offline!" Ratchet shouted. "Power at 30%! Hull integrity failing!" "Reroute emergency power." Kale's 4 hands flew across controls. "Already tried! The anomaly fried our primary systems!" Marcus grabbed his console as gravity failed, then returned violently. "Where are we?" "Unknown! Scanning!" "Oh no." "Oh no" is not reassuring, Ratchet. "We're caught in gravitational pull. There's a planet. We're going down." Through the viewport, Marcus saw it. A world of purple and green, storms raging across an alien landscape. Beautiful and terrifying. They were falling toward it. "Kale!" he shouted. "I know." She fought the controls, but the ship wouldn't respond. "Brace for impact." "Again? I just survived 1 crash." "Consider it practice." Ratchet's voice was almost gleeful. "Well, this is exciting. I estimate 40% chance of survival." "What about the other 60? "Spectacular, fiery death, but at least we'll go out with style." The planet rushed up to meet them. The ship screamed. Kale roared something in Tharnaxian that was probably a curse or a prayer or both. Marcus grabbed the edge of his seat and thought, "At least I got to see the stars." They hit atmosphere. The ship shook itself apart, pieces tearing away. The hull glowed red-hot. Systems failed one by one. Kale wrestled with the controls, trying to angle their descent. "Hold together," she growled at the ship. "Just a little longer." The view screen showed jungle, purple vegetation, massive trees. "Brace!" Kale shouted. They hit. The impact was brutal. Metal shrieked. Marcus felt something crack. Ribs, maybe. The world spun. Then silence. Marcus opened his eyes to smoke and sparks. "Status?" "Alive," Kale groaned. "Barely." "I'm intact," Ratchet announced. "My chassis has minimal damage, unlike this ship, which is thoroughly destroyed. Good job, Captain." "Not now, Ratchet." Marcus unstrapped, wincing. Through the cracked view screen, he saw their surroundings, a jungle of purple and red plants, 3 moons visible in a green-tinged sky, and something moving in the undergrowth. Something big. "Kale?" he said quietly. "I see it." The creature stepped into view, 10 feet tall, 6 legs, covered in chitinous plates and very clearly predatory. It looked at the crashed ship. Then it roared. "Well," Ratchet said cheerfully, "this is going to be interesting." The creature charged.